Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we will be looking at how Shu Qing gets ambushed by mysterious warships out at sea, unleashes his Golden Crow technique to wipe out a sea zombie crew, and ends up dragged into a wild scheme to sneak into the sea zombie ancestral land. Before we dive in, kindly smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. The episode begins with Shu Qing spotting something strange in the evening sky. Three enormous black warships, shaped almost like giant trees, are flying through the air in the distance. He can't sense any fluctuations from them, and nothing in his memory of the sea annals matches ships like these. A woman on the lead ship reaches out and releases a strange black pearl containing a glowing magical symbol, and it rockets towards Shu Qing at incredible speed. He tries to flee, but the pearl blinks out of existence and reappears directly in front of him, slamming into his Dharma skiff and shattering it into pieces. Wreckage floats up to the surface. Up above, a young woman called Third Princess leans over the rail of the warship, delighted with how easily the boat went down. Beside her, a white-robed sea zombie known only as the captain looks troubled. He scolds her for being reckless and drawing attention, worried she might provoke something far more dangerous than she realizes. Third Princess brushes him off, calling the destroyed boat nothing more than a toy from Seven Blood Eyes, and reminding him that it only took one of her father's lightning pearls to finish it. What neither of them realizes is that the Dharma skiff that exploded was only a decoy shell, crafted by Zhang Zan to draw out exactly this kind of attack. Shu Qing himself is safe, piloting his real Dharma skiff beneath the surface, eyes burning with anger. The moment that Black Pearl appeared, he sensed traces of mutagen that told him exactly what he was dealing with. Sea zombies, creatures he has killed more of than he can count and has no love for at all. That pearl wasn't strong enough to actually hurt him, but its speed and power impressed him. It teleported instantly, moving faster than he could react, and its strength felt comparable to a cultivator with 2 or even 3 life flames. Whoever is casually tossing around treasures like that either has an extraordinary cultivation base or an extraordinarily powerful protector standing behind them. Shu Qing suspects the latter and decides to trail the ships quietly rather than strike blindly. For 3 days he follows in secret, disguising his Dharma skiff with his shadow so it blends in with the surrounding mutagen. The captain senses that something has been tailing them, but eventually convinces himself that whoever it was must have given up and moved on. In reality, Shu Qing never left. He simply learned to hide better, using the time to study the ships closely. He confirms there are no gold core cultivators aboard, no 3 flame experts, and no one capable of piercing his disguise. He also studies their weak points and their travel speed. He wants payback for that pearl. He needs more fuel for his cultivation, and his current technique, Golden Crow assimilates Myrat spirits, was interrupted mid-progress by all of this. As far as he's concerned, that makes the sea zombies fair targets. On the 3rd night, under a dim moon, Shu Qing makes his move. His Dharma skiff surges out of the water in its sea lizard form, wings unfurling as it takes to the air, and fires a devastating beam of golden light that tears through one warship's defenses like they aren't even there. Wind screams and the night sky flashes with color as the beam carries a holy, almost sacred power straight into the hull, bending the massive vessel with the force of the impact. At the same moment, a massive blue-green dragon erupts from beneath the lead ship to attack it directly, and Shu Qing himself launches off his Dharma skiff, engulfed in flame, and slams into the 3rd and final ship, smashing straight through its shields and stepping aboard. All 3 strikes land within moments of each other, faster than anyone aboard can properly react. There are more than 30 sea zombies on that ship, and only one of them, a Foundation Establishment cultivator, poses any real threat. To Shu Qing, they all seem like they move in slow motion. He strides straight towards the strongest of them, places his palm on the cultivator's forehead, and channels the Balefire soul-swallowing scripture. The totem tattoo on his back flares to life as well, and within moments, the sea zombie is completely drained. With that final push, Shu Qing's technique reaches full completion. Golden Crow assimilates Myrat spirits, is finished. The result is spectacular. Black flames erupt behind him and take the shape of a colossal divine bird, part crow, part crane, part phoenix, with 3 long clawed legs, wreathed in fire and radiating an ancient, majestic aura, as if it had stepped straight out of legend. Its tail fans out into a wide, spectacular ring of flame as it climbs into the night sky, turning the darkness around it into something that seems to boil and churn with restrained power. It circles Shu Qing almost affectionately, like an old friend greeting him, before spreading fire across the deck, and every sea zombie who looks at him in that moment feels a chill of dread, as if they're staring at something that shouldn't exist. Even Third Princess, watching from the lead ship, is transfixed, unable to look away despite the pain in her eyes. The captain, standing beside her, is far more alarmed. He recognizes the golden crow as an extremely rare and dangerous cultivation technique, and immediately grows alarmed about what Shu Qing has become capable of. He quietly warns Third Princess never to reveal his real name to Shu Qing, inventing a story on the spot about a terrifying curse technique tied to knowing someone's true name, just so she'll keep calling him Big Bro. Back on the burning ship, the Golden Crow's fiery tail lashes out and overwhelms the remaining sea zombie crew, and Shu Qing finishes the job with a single devastating strike that brings the entire warship down. He hovers in the air afterward, his black hair whipping in the wind, the Golden Crow circling behind him, looking every bit like a demon out of legend. His attention shifts to the captain, who is currently holding off the blue-green dragon while keeping a wary eye on him. The tension breaks when strange laughter rings out from the second ship. A sea zombie with a burning life flame strides onto the deck, controlling a cursed black iron skewer wrapped in crackling lightning and bound with the trapped souls of other sea zombies. It turns out this fighter is being secretly puppeted by Shu Qing's own shadow, which had quietly taken over his body earlier. In a shocking display, the possession unravels all at once and the puppeted body simply gives out, right in front of the horrified crew. A waste Shu Qing privately regrets since it means losing a soul he could have used. Undeterred, he turns toward the first ship and the terrified sea zombies aboard start leaping overboard, only for the Golden Crow to catch them with chains of fire. Stepping onto the final ship, Shu Qing raises his hand toward Third Princess, who watches him with strange admiration despite her fear. Before the strike can land, the captain intervenes, deflecting the attack and finally addressing Shu Qing directly, calling him fellow Taoist and explaining that the young woman is very important to him. Shu Qing, already suspecting the captain has been using her as part of some scheme, calmly names an outrageous price to leave her alone. Before the captain can respond, Third Princess, delighted by the Golden Crow display, jokes about wanting Shu Qing to become her protector too and reveals a cursed bracelet bound to a reanimated corpse guardian, which she says she's tried and failed to destroy many times before. The corpse guardian lunges at Shu Qing, but between the captain's lightning skewer and Shu Qing's shadow spreading under it, the creature is quickly overwhelmed. It turns out to be nothing more than a hollow puppet with no real spirit power inside, and the Golden Crow finishes it off completely, absorbing what remains. Third Princess is thrilled, thanking Shu Qing for finally freeing her from an item her father forced on her, while continuing to tease the captain about pretending not to be from Seven Blood Eyes, and about promises he apparently made in her name involving heavenly punishment and marriage. Growing serious, however, Shu Qing turns toward the captain, his expression darkening. Before things can escalate, the captain shouts out a warning not to hurt her, revealing how much he actually needs her for his plans. Shu Qing moves in a flash and strikes Third Princess hard enough to send her flying off the ship, though the Golden Crow catches her with a chain of fire before she can fall into the sea, dropping her back down in front of the captain. Shu Qing never intended to kill her. He simply takes her bag of holding as payment instead. Third Princess, despite coughing up blood and clearly injured, seems more confused than afraid, asking why Shu Qing would hit her instead of going after the captain who had used his name for schemes without permission. The captain calmly explains it's a private matter between the two of them and has nothing to do with her, before knocking her unconscious and sealing her safely away in a storage bag. Now alone, Shu Qing and the captain settle their business. Shu Qing confronts him about swearing false oaths using his name, and the captain, in classic form, brushes it completely off, insisting it was all a joke, changing the subject by pointing out a dropped item and cheerfully denying ever making any promises about marriage or heavenly punishment. Despite his denials, it becomes clear these two share history and an unusual teasing bond, more like brothers than anything else. Finally getting serious, the captain reveals the real plan. He's been disguised as a sea zombie in order to earn a valuable zombie heart, but his true goal is far riskier. He wants to infiltrate the sea zombie ancestral land and reach one of the 9 legendary statues of the sea zombie ancestors, relics said to hold immense power capable of helping cultivators open Dharma apertures at incredible speed. With most of the sea zombies' strongest fighters currently occupied elsewhere in the war, their homeland's defenses are thin, and having Third Princess along would make the whole operation far less suspicious. Shu Qing is skeptical at first, especially given how reckless the plan sounds, but the mention of the ancestor statues catches his attention immediately. He is currently working through a difficult stretch of cultivation progress, and the promise of a shortcut is tempting. Still, he insists he doesn't trust Third Princess. The captain assures him he'll handle her, hinting that her situation is more tragic than it appears. But Shu Qing remains firm that if this plan is going to work, she needs to be a genuine, willing part of it. To settle the disagreement over who should pose as Third Princess for the disguise, they make a bet, racing to defeat a nearby sea creature first. The moment the wager is set, both of them ignite their life flames and burst into motion, and what follows is an intense, evenly matched clash between them that has nothing to do with the sea creature at all, each trying to block and outmaneuver each other rather than actually reach their target. The captain even unseals a hidden layer of his own power partway through, visibly startling Shu Qing, and for a moment the two trade attacks on a level far beyond anything either of them has shown before, each impressed and a little unsettled by how strong the other has become. When their strongest blows finally collide head-on, both of them are sent reeling, injured, and out of breath. In the end, neither of their techniques actually claims the creature. It ends up destroying itself in a bizarre and unsettling way, and Shu Qing manages to claim the win at the very last second, using his shadow, much to the captain's disbelief. The captain, frustrated but a good sport about it, accepts defeat and disappears into the ship's cabin to prepare. When he re-emerges, his disguise as Third Princess is flawless, right down to the last detail, complete with all her usual mannerisms and habits. Shu Qing studies the transformation with open curiosity as the captain irritably hands over her bag of holding to sort through. Inside, they find her belongings along with a stash of rare sea zombie treasures, small crystal bottles containing more of those lightning pearls, the very same kind that destroyed Shu Qing's decoy earlier. The captain explains what they are. Rare, disposable treasures unique to sea zombies, valued highly across the war, with their strength varying depending on which sea zombie crafted them. He also shows off his own disguise technique, expensive and rare, capable of masking a cultivator's presence entirely, as long as no one with especially sharp senses gets too close. With the plan set, the two prepare their cover story properly, dressing the part and preparing to pass as a wounded princess and her loyal protector fleeing toward home. Along the way, the captain shares more of Third Princess's backstory, and it's a genuinely tragic one. She was born into a powerful bloodline before her father turned against his own people and transformed himself and his family in pursuit of forbidden power, eventually becoming the ruler of the sea zombies. As part of his cultivation method, he has repeatedly sacrificed those closest to him to break through difficult stages of growth. Her mother and 2 older sisters are already gone this way, and she is the only one left, largely because her father hasn't needed to make that sacrifice again yet. He even keeps a portion of her essence bound to himself at all times, meaning her fate is entirely out of her own hands no matter where she goes or what happens to her. It's the kind of story that Shu Qing has heard echoes of before, in one form or another. Chasing power at the cost of the people closest to you never seems to end well, and yet it never seems to stop happening either. Hearing this, Shu Qing is quietly moved and hands over a healing pill for the captain to pass along to her later. The captain, delighted by this rare display of softness, immediately starts teasing him about it, wondering out loud if Shu Qing has developed feelings for her. Shu Qing, unbothered, simply changes the subject back to their plan. To sell the story of a desperate escape, the two spend the following days trading light, exaggerated wounds back and forth. Shu Qing insists that a fleeing princess would need to look genuinely battered, while the captain fires back that a Dao protector who comes away completely unscathed would look even more suspicious. And so the two of them keep escalating, each pointing out flaws in the other's injuries with surprisingly serious logic about what would look realistic to observers, all while bickering like old married couples the entire time. At one point, the captain tries to change the subject entirely, hinting at some secret escape plan he's holding in reserve in case things go wrong, and casually pricing the information at an enormous number of spirit stones, only for Shu Qing to decline with a flat look and no further questions, which leaves the captain oddly rattled. By the time they finally stop for the day, both of them are worn out and covered in wounds, but the plan is airtight. It's a strange, oddly comedic bonding exercise between two people who clearly trust each other completely, even while constantly getting on each other's nerves. As the days pass and their warship closes in on the massive island that serves as the sea zombie ancestral homeland, larger than the merfolk's territory and covering roughly a tenth of an entire continent, the two of them fall into a quieter rhythm, meditating and refining their plan, fully aware of just how dangerous the road ahead is going to be. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly like the video, and if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. In the next episode, we'll see whether Shu Qing and the captain can actually pull off their infiltration of the sea zombie ancestral land, and just how much danger is waiting for them once they set foot on that island. So, see you in the next video.